Okay, so we open up the floor for questions. Fadl, brother. Yes.
Where is the proof that the Jannah language for whoever is going to be in Jannah is going to be Arabic?
Okay, there is a study which is being done right now, and I reviewed the tape and I gave a copy to the brothers of ISNA. Inshallah, they'll make it available to you. This was a program on a television series called Fatawa al-Rahmah. Sheikh Muhammad Hassan, a very well-known sheikh from Egypt, and he introduced a scholar whose name is, his name was Saeed Ibrahim Ash-Sherbini. And he's an Egyptian also, and he took up a subject which is the universal science of linguistics. And this study began in the year 2003. It is a new science which has developed in linguistics, and in the University of London, he took his master's in this subject, and now he's bringing his dissertation. When he started the subject, what this subject does, it studies all the languages that people speak. And based upon the sounds in the language, and based upon the history of language, they can determine whether a language will stay or whether it will be stagnated and die. And they have found out that languages live like people. A person starts as a child, and then goes into adulthood, and then old age, and then weakness and die. Similarly, languages go through the same thing. And they have estimated there have been about 1,000 known languages in the world. Of these 1,000 known languages, 400 languages are dead. There's about 601 languages remaining. And because of globalization now, and industrialization and conquering, there's about 50 languages per year are dying. Because everybody wants to speak English, or they want to speak the language of the conqueror. And so languages are dying now in a rapid rate. And so they're doing this universal study. When our brother Saeed Ibrahim Ash-Sherbini, when he entered into the course, Arabic language was not even considered. So he put Arabic language in there, and he used science. This is not religion. These people are not religious. They are going by linguistics, the history of language, the sounds in the language. They can tell whether a language is dying. They are now saying the most recent language which is dead is Nubian language. You know Bilad al-Nuba? In Aswan, right? In Aswan. When you go south, they're saying the Nubian language is now considered to be dead. And this is how languages go down. And so Arabic was not even considered. He did a paper, a master's paper, and when he put Arabic language to all the scientific thing, now Arabic is number 2. The most powerful language now that they say will last more than anything is Mandarin Chinese. Because Chinese, by the very numbers of China itself, and also the history of China, they say that has longevity. It will last. But now Saeed is saying he has a paper right now. He has shown it to the people. They have agreed upon it. And when it comes out, Arabic will be language number 1. What is he proving in this? He is proving that Arabic is the original language spoken by Adam alayhi salam. It is Logatul And in London itself, they have changed the Arabic Qism al-Lughat al-Arabiya. Now it is Qism al-Lughat It is the department of the mother language, the original language. And they are so serious about this. They are watching languages die. They even are taking some great English books and they're translating them into Arabic. Because if all the other languages die, they're saying right now, because of the makeup of Arabic languages, they're saying it will outlast all the other languages. These are not religious people. And the thing that shocked the scientists is that when they look at languages, each word has got syllables. And so if you say industrial, you have in-dus-tree-al. So there's different syllables going inside of it. And so they put the word Allah. They put Allah into the machine. It's a machine that judges sound. And you would say, ah, it sounds like it has, when you put it in, it's only one sound. It's only one sound. And you look at it, it seems like it has syllables, but it comes out one sound. They said they have never found any word in any language which has syllables and only comes out one sound. It's the only word in the human race, which again show Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, Shirbini is proving now that this will be the language of Jannah. It'll be the language of the day of judgment. And this is something which is so important to us. And that's why we should encourage our children to learn Arabic. I'm just coming from the Gulf region now, and if you speak English, the best job you can get in the Gulf and Muslim country is teaching English. Because everybody wants to learn English. But who wants to learn Arabic? And this is something that Shaitan is doing to us. These are non-Muslims. And some of these people have accepted Islam based on the work of Shirbini. They say, I'm Muslim. This is the language. Because I can see your language is going to outlast every language. And he tells them the basis of this language, the longevity, is the Quran. You want to understand Arabic? Go to the Quran. That's the basis. And so we need to learn classical Arabic. And those of you who speak Arabic, also teach the children Fusha. Teach them Fusha. When you say, what is your name? Masmuka. You say, Ismuk, Shinnu Ismuk, Ishishmuk. Teach them how to speak Arabic, man. Ma'arif Haga. Teach them how to speak Arabic. Yes, we need Ammiya, because we talk to each other and it's sweet, right? But the real language which will outlast is Fusha. This is the language of Adam alayhi salam. This is the language, inshallah, the language of Jannah, the final language. And so this tape, inshallah, which is presented through Sheikh Muhammad Hassan, I have left the file of this. It's in Arabic language. Inshallah, brothers can translate it. I'll leave the file with Abu Hamza and the people of ISNA. They will have the file. And inshallah, you can get this little disc or this file, and you can watch the program on Fatawa al-Rahma. And we're waiting for more studies from Saeed Ibrahim al-Shirbini. Jazahullah khair. Question?
Just ask two questions. One, definition about fatwa. The other question is, I'm from Somalia, and we have at this topic you talk about 5 different religious groups.
Right.
They're all Muslim, but a lot of them they do in different ways, and they're all claiming they're different Muslims. So what your comment is that?
Okay, well, I mean, I am not a mufti myself. I am a dawah person. I'm a da'iya, right? And but you know, the fatwa is giving you a religious decision, and they have to take into consideration, you know, the environment and the circumstances. You know, they use the Quran and the Sunnah and the Ijma', and they will bring you, you know, a proper decision based upon all the circumstances. So the mufti should not give you a decision immediately. They will sit down and look at it and give you a proper decision. In terms of Somalia itself, and we make dua that Allah will bless that land and will bring peace to the land. I became very close to the Somali nation myself. I was the Imam of the Jami Mosque in Toronto, which has one of the largest communities in the world now, Somali communities. In 1985, there was 2 Somalis in the mosque. And then after 2 years, 60% of the Musallis were from Somalia, Eritrea, and Hara, and places like this. Okay? And they said, Brother Abdullah, you know, we're Somalis. Everybody had similar names, Abdi, Rahman, they were Shafi, you know, whatever, similar. And then one day, there was a struggle in Western Somalia called Ogaden. And so we made dua for the people who were struggling in the Ogaden. And then somebody came to me and said, Brother Abdullah, you're innocent. Your mu'adhin is Darod. In the mosque down the street is Hawiyah. On the northern side is Ishaq. Right? And I'm saying, what is this, man? Then they said, now you don't know Midigan, the Midiganis. Right? Somalis know what I'm talking about. Right? Jarir. And there's different groups. And so this tribalism, the Prophet ﷺ said, leave tribalism and nationalism. It is filthy. Tribalism is killing us. And I know that people have died. And it's not easy to forgive somebody who killed someone in your family. But the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, when they opened up Mecca, they had to embrace people who tortured them to death, who killed their families, who drove them out of their homes. They had to embrace them as their brothers and sisters. They had to forgive them, man. So we as Muslims, we need to forgive each other. We have to forgive each other. How to come out of the problem? Allah knows best. I can only say on the outside, you know, we have to return to the essence of Islam and we make dua for the people in that region there. In terms of, we want to talk about the subject here. For your everyday fiqh questions, you need to go to the local faqih, right, for everyday fiqh. Okay? And but general questions we want to try to deal with. What do you do if you're forced to commit haram and become an unmodest person because your life depends upon it? The Prophet ﷺ said that anything that we do by khata and nisyan, if you make a mistake or you forget or you're compelled, you're forced to do something, the pen is lifted. The pen is not writing. So if somebody's forced to do something which is haram, the pen is not writing. If you do something by mistake, you're forgiven. If you do something forgetfully, you're forgiven. We were talking earlier today about Ammar ibn Yasir, radiallahu anh. Ammar came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, I have destroyed myself. And the Prophet said, how? He said, I said kalimatul kufr. He was tortured. And he said the word of disbelief. The Prophet ﷺ said, how was your heart? He said, my heart was strong in faith. So the Prophet said, then you are on the path, or in words. You're okay. So anything done by force, the pen is not writing at that time. How do you protect your heart from corruption that we are surrounded by and attain a sound heart? This is the thing. We need to know, like these madakhil, these are the entrances of the shaitan into the hearts. So just like soldiers that are guarding the fort, you need to guard yourself against some of these areas. And some of it is just, sometimes it's just eating too much, eating spicy food and all these things, getting satisfied, being jealous of other people, right? Being suspect of other people, right? Glorifying individuals. Some of these things, these are the things we need to protect our hearts from. And these are practical issues that we will face in our lives, and we need to take it as a practical thing. It says, what advice can you give to Muslim brothers who find it hard to stay out of trouble and always end up with the wrong crowd? The Prophet ﷺ said very clearly, Ar-rajulu ala dini khalili. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلُ. The Prophet ﷺ said, a person will be on the religion of his friend. So take care who you make your friends. So if you find somebody who makes salat and fasts, is a good person, make that person your friend. If you know the person doesn't make salat, he's swearing, he's fighting, right, he's carrying on, then just stay away, man. Because that person will lead you into the wrong crowd and lead you into a dangerous situation. So we need to watch our friends. How much time we have left before salat? 5. Yes, brother. Yeah.
Before Christopher Columbus in the Americas, how was Islam before that, and the status of the state of the Native Americans? How are they going towards Islam?
Okay, we have the question is, what is the condition of Muslims in America, especially before Columbus? I will be leaving with ISNA as well in their library. They will be producing a book called Deeper Roots. And this shows the history of Muslims in America before Columbus to the present. And so we have documented evidence that Muslims reached America. When you read the writing of Al-Mas'udi, the famous scholar in Muruj al-Dahab, Al-Idrisi, Al-Umari, Ibn Qutiyya, and these famous Islamic geographers and historians, they talked about people who went across the ocean. They went across the ocean. Also, a great king from Mali, an Islamic empire, his name was Mansa Musa. He made pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, and he had 72,000 people on Hajj in 1324. It's the king of Mali. And when he reached Egypt, at the time of the Mamluks, the Mamluk fell in love with him. And he was given questions, and they said, how did you get this power? He said, my elder brother, Abu Bakr, he was before me, I inherited this power. My brother went into the Atlantic Ocean with 2,000 ships, and he never returned. And now we have proof. If you take the currents that go from Senegal, Gambia, Senegambia, it takes you right across. You don't need sails. It takes you right into Brazil. Or you take another one, it goes into Barbados in the West Indies. So we have documented evidence showing the presence of the Mandinka people from West Africa crossing the Amazon into Panama, into Mexico, and into the United States, all the way up to Canada. And they mixed with the native people of America. There's proof amongst the natives. There's pictures of natives in the Seminoles in Florida with turbans on, with Arabic names. The Cherokee Nation, Cherokees, they used to pray toward the east, and according to the elders, they used to say, Ya Allah, and face east. There's documentation of the presence of Muslims in America long before Columbus. Christopher Columbus, actually, he was lost, man. He thought he was in India. And he bumped into America on the way. And he said, you are Indians. But they're not Indians, man. It's not India. He was lost. But they said he discovered America. So Muslims were there before. And in the culture of America, there's different waves. A number of waves that came in. Muslim played a strong part in the history of that country, and that is the reason why it's the fastest growing religion in America. That's the reason why, up until now, it's the roots of the people. And so we have documented evidence which inshallah will be made available to you right here in Melbourne. The question said, if a family member is doing adultery and you have advised them on many occasions, but they don't want to know halal and haram, can you stop communication with them? Definitely, if a person is doing haram, then you need to take a strong stand. And that person needs to be advised based on the situation. And a strong stance needs to be taken against that person. Because the Quran is saying, وَلَا تَقْرَبُ الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Do not come close to zina. It is an abomination, an evil thing. It will destroy everything in its path. It will destroy the boy, the girl, the family's reputation, the children that are coming. It destroys everything. Now it spreads HIV, AIDS, venereal disease, all types of things happening with this. So we have to take a strong stance. There are many things happening within our families. And so we encourage the masajid and the Islamic centers. We need to have counseling, specialized counseling for Muslims. And that counselor needs to be a trained person. If you have social workers, get the social workers into the masjid. That's what we did. We had the social worker work with the imams. If the person tells you their secret, don't go around the corner and tell the brothers. You have to swear to confidentiality. You cannot tell the secrets of other people. That's our problem. We talk. We would like to talk and tell things. You cannot tell the secret. That person, if a sister comes to you and she is abused, it's a serious situation. And you have to take her serious. You can't say, sabr, sister, sabr. You got to deal with the abuser. He's got to be dealt with. And if you can't do it, bring in the authorities. If you don't have the strength to do it. Because in our society, if we had an Islamic state, we would deal with the abuser. We would not allow anybody to be abused. And so it is crucial for us now, we need to provide counseling for each other. That's not the adhan, right? Somebody's phone. It says, it is said that we should follow only one Imam, otherwise we would be confused. Is it right? If yes, then to whom? You know, in terms of Imam, the word Imam is translated in different ways. Basically, the Imam, there's an Imam in a masjid that you will follow to lead, who leads you in Salat. There is also an Imam or Amir who is the leader of the community. That person really, you could say, the Amir. But sometimes we take words out of context. Okay, so it is important for the communities to have somebody solid who leads Salat, who gives the fatwas that are needed, who gives religious education, whatever. That's important. But it's also important for the community to have a Majlis al-Shura and to have an Amir. Have somebody who can represent the Muslims in their area. Or if you cannot get one, have a committee of people that have representatives of different groupings. And then they can represent the Muslims, especially if there are problems with the local government or various serious issues that affect all of the Muslims. Each area is different, and I'm not going to judge you. I don't know what has happened in the past, but this is the suggestion that we have tried to do in Cape Town, in South Africa, to have a Majlis al-Shura to represent different bodies of Muslims. Question?
Sheikh, just regarding that question, I'm pretty sure that it's referring to the four schools of thought, and if we should follow one school. There's a common way of thinking that you have to follow one madhab. Then if you take teachings from all madhabs, you get confused. I'm pretty sure that's what that would be referring to.
Okay, well, no, this is dealing with something little. This one seems the Imam. This is based on the thing that happened today. Now, any other general questions that we have before we close down? Yeah.
Does that mean also alcohol can be a zina, like putting the perfume on perfume?
Like drinking alcohol?
No, like putting perfume on.
Okay, itself, if you put on perfume, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. He loved itta, right? So there's nothing wrong with doing that. In the case of a woman, however, it is said that the itta of the man is something which has a smell that comes out, but the itta of the woman is something that may have left a stain, but the smell doesn't protrude. Right? You'd only smell it if you're right on the person. And the Prophet ﷺ described women who had this perfume on that's out there as like people who are committing adultery. And you will see it when they wear this perfume now. Like I said, I'm just coming out of the Gulf region and stuff, and whatever, they have all these perfume shops, right? And they're wearing this, you walk along and the perfume hits you. And it like floors you on the ground because of the smell, man. Right? So these things are dangerous. Anything which is going to lead us to fornication and adultery, we should avoid. We should avoid all of these things. Now, yes, brother.
You know the progress of the about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know whether it's going to be done and how it's going to be done. Is it going to be done properly, or is it going to be done based on what the Western world wants?
Yeah, there is some discussion about. I was living in Bahrain, but there is some discussion that in Qatar that they are planning to do a movie about the Prophet ﷺ. And but now they're just researching it and whatnot. But they appear to be the people who are doing it appear to be very religious people. So hopefully they will research it and do it properly, you know, and not. It is something that is needed in a sense, but again, it's a dangerous area to get into because you can misrepresent individuals, you know, and whatnot. So, but it appears that they seem to be fairly well grounded and they're taking their time, and hopefully they will not make any major mistakes. Now,
Brother, there was talk about trying to rewrite the Quran.
yeah. There is some book that they put out where they tried to write their own Quran. The Christians are trying to do this. And they put out some copies of this in Jordan. Some of them appeared, I think in Kuwait, and they appeared so that they tried to write their own thing like this. But of course, they will never be able to do it in the Arabic language, of course. Nobody has ever been able to, and up until now, they have never done it. And what things that they tried was laughable in terms of the language and whatnot. They have given up now in trying to do that. Now what they're trying to do is to give a bad image of Islam and to say that the Quran leads to terrorism, and they say Islamofascism, that it's fascism. This is the latest attack which is coming now, a movie called Obsession, which was passed around in the United States. So this is the latest things that has come. Okay, one more final point.
Yes, regarding the hasad, you said it eats your hasanat and the fire is food. But if you feel hasad in your heart and you do not act upon it, you do the same effect.
Okay, this is an important point about jealousy. This is the final question. And this is the point about everybody can feel hasad, something inside of yourself. But the scholars say you need to remember your opposition with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that material things come and they go. And when we think about this, then it can take hasad of our heart. Because sometimes if a person has a lot of money, it's actually a curse. It's not a blessing. And we see it has happened to many societies in front of us. So, may Allah protect us against this and clean our hearts and unite our ranks. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.